Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. In today's video we're going to be talking about mutual trust and mutual respect in a relationship and why it is important. Let's do it. First, trust has to be there. Trust has to be there during the dating process when you first start to see somebody. And I've dated people in the past who I simply could not trust. Period. End of story. It is a nightmare dating those people because you know they're doing things behind your back constantly. That's just the way these people are. These people are about as reliable as handling a snake. You don't know what they're going to do next, and you don't know if you're going to get bitten on the ass anytime soon. So there has to be trust in a relationship, and I would say when you're dating, weed out the untrustful ones. You're going to find untrustful people out there. That's just in their nature. Kind of weed those out while dating. Don't deal with those people, because if you want a life full of drama and just craziness and not knowing where you stand or not knowing what's going on, then fine. Have a relationship with someone who doesn't understand mutual trust and respect. Otherwise, mutual trust and respect has to be there, because you cannot watch someone 24/7. You cannot, just constantly be behind them, monitoring them. You have to trust that they're not going to do anything stupid. They're not going to poison you in your sleep, or they're not going to, start a relationship behind your back, or any of that crazy stuff. They're not going to do that, because of the mutual trust in the relationship. They trust you and you trust them. If that mutual trust breaks down, you have a very serious problem. Respect as well. You have to respect the other person's opinions. The other person's opinions, the opinions of your spouse, are going to be different to yours. End of story. If they're the same, then there's something really weird going on. Maybe that person has a mask they're kind of wearing. If someone's agreeing to everything you're saying, and oh, that's perfect, and oh, I love to do that, they're agreeing to absolutely everything you're saying, that is very superficial, and that is very scary in a relationship. If you ever meet someone like that and they're doing that kind of stuff, be very cautious, because they may be wearing a mask, and you won't know the true person you're dealing with until the mask comes off. And people can generally hide who they are for about 60 to 90 days. So it's kind of well into the dating phase. You're dating someone for basically three months, maybe a little longer than that. And then the mask slips off and you realize who you're dealing with then. So if you're dealing with someone who's very superficial, that's wearing a mask all the time, that should be a warning sign that maybe there's some character flaws there. And maybe there's going to be a problem with mutual respect and trust later in a relationship. Because if they're not being perfectly honest in the first few dates about everything, then there's a problem there. Now, I'm not saying on the first date with a person you should pull out all your dirty laundry and tell them how much student loan debt you have and how much trouble you're in, and how many you pull up your arrest record from 1984 or something. I'm not saying you do that, but what I am saying is that you should build the trust throughout the early stages of the relationship, so you continue the trust into the relationship when hopefully the relationship forms. Then when you're married, the last thing you need to do is completely blow it, guys. Yep, don't blow it, because you have built that trust. That trust has been building since your first date. It's been building slowly. It's kind of like sediment going into the ocean. Basically, over thousands and thousands of years, you get these layers that build up into rocks. Okay, there's what trust is. It's built one grain of sand at a time. Now, if you do something stupid, if you cheat, if you do all the kinds of crazy things that are out there, if you lie, cheat, steal, whatever, all of a sudden, all that trust that you have, that you've been building up, that you've been investing in since your first date, is all washed away. That's scary, because you're going to have to rebuild that trust one grain of sand at a time. If you ever try to move a beach one grain of sand at a time, that's what we're dealing with here. If you mess up, if you make a fool of yourself and do something stupid in the relationship, all that trust is gone. All that mutual trust, all that mutual respect is gone, and it's gonna have to be slowly built up. Even if you change, even if you realize, man, I screwed up, I really messed this up, and I've changed. And good, intelligent people can change, I believe. So you change and you look yourself in the mirror and you realize you messed up and you change. Very good for you. That does not mean that your spouse isn't hurt. That does not mean that your spouse has not lost trust and respect for you. Your spouse may have lost a lot of trust and respect for you. And now you have to build it back up. And like I said, you are now moving the beach one grain of sand at a time. It's going to be a painstaking, slow process. So once you have mutual trust and once you have mutual respect in a relationship, whatever you do, don't mess it up. Because if you mess it up, it's not going to be gone forever, but it's going to be gone for a really, really long time, and you're going to be climbing a mountain trying to get out of this problem. So guys, in every relationship, mutual trust and mutual respect is absolutely vital. Because you can't be with someone 24/7, 365. You can't be watching your back 24/7, 365. And if you are in that kind of situation, it is a really bad situation, and you shouldn't be in any way. You get completely paranoid in that situation. And I would, I'm sure anyone else would, if you have to install spyware on someone's phone and track their location all the time. I'm sure there's guys out there that have been in that situation where they can't trust their spouse and they're having to monitor their spouse and track what's going on and everything, especially if they're cheating. And it's a horrible situation to be in. You're going to be walking on eggshells. Basically, it's kind of the end of the relationship if you're having to do that. Let's be honest. So there has to be mutual trust. Mutual trust is that if someone says they're doing something, they're actually doing it. They're not lying about it. They're not saying, oh, I'm in this city, and you look at their phone and they're in some completely different city. If you catch them blatant lies like that, all the trust is completely blown at that point. So you have to have trust in a relationship, mutual trust and mutual respect in a relationship. Once that goes, then the relationship is on really thin ice. I'm not saying you can't save it. I'm sure there's ways to save it, but you've got to rebuild that trust. And like I said, you're going to be moving a beach one grain of sand at a time into a wheelbarrow. Do you want to do that? It's going to take a heck of a long time. If you love the person, I'm sure it's worth it. If you love a person, you'll rebuild that trust and respect slowly over time. So if your relationship is having problems and you love the person, go ahead and do that. Because obviously it will be worth it in the long run. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. Click down there, like, share and subscribe, and I will talk to you again soon.